fit to fight.
Which is
Then
this house?
No, what seems to be coming here is actual bodies. If you're ever curious of seeing the ghosts, then look outside the church at the when the bell rings midnight. Hurry back because soon enough the mists will spawn and the hour will grow dark and this place will be under siege, I would suppose.
I see. Thank you very much for all your information.
It is important for you all to realize that the nighttime here is dangerous outside of shelter. That does not mean it's safe during daytime. Evil lurks all around you, and the people here tends to live together to find safety in numbers. Uh, be careful of what happens to you if you roam up and about.
I think we understand what that entails. When should we return?
I don't know. Depends on when you are done with your um, endeavors, I suppose.
When is the latest hour that we can return?
Give me a.
Before the zombies come out.
He walks up and opens the door. Opens it up slightly. You can hear him just asking, "Do you have any idea when dinner will be?" And you hear a female voice in the kitchen going "Ooh, about 3 or 4 hours, dear." "Thank you, Lan." And he just closes the door again. It could be wise for you all to come back for dinner, I suppose, to recover some strength and get some food and perhaps make plans. But you are free to stop by at any moment, I suppose.
Thank you for your hospitality.
I would greatly suggest that you at least patch up your friend if you are to face any issues tonight, as these attacks seems to be pretty intense.
You broke him, old man. You fix him.
Yet you are the one running away, young one.
You fucking what? No, I'm going.
He puts both hands on his swords again.
Thank you for your hospitality, Ishmark.
Anything for having able hands helping us out at night. Okay.
We'll be back soon.
Rather follows.
We group outside the house.
Okay, I'll take you to the village map.
So are we going to the church?
No, before we go on, we are pretty much outside the house. I ask everyone to gather around, in a close circle, and see that no one is around to hear us, and to lower my voice and tell them.
Make a perception check.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, say what you want to say.
But I'm certain that there is no one listening, okay? I would not.
Okay. Manny's confirms there is no one listening.
Okay.
I look at them, I say, "Are you sure there's nobody listening?"
Jesus Christ. I lower my voice and tell everybody, guys, do you remember how we killed Lancelot in the dungeon of the Death House? And he came back alive.
I
And
look
there
at
is a
him and I say,
donkey.
"We killed it, or
don't interrupt me. Well, I don't think he came back alive. Benjen just sensed that he's actually undead now. And I tried to explain what I know about undeath by rolling my religion, where I just explained that I don't know anything about undeath, guys. So if anyone of you knows what that means, how we can handle it, maybe how we can bring him back or uh, put him to normal rest, just speak out.
I
Please.
explain what my extensive knowledge of history about undead is.
Or history. I thought it's a religion for undead.
It depends entirely on what you're wanting to say. Religion will not really help you with undeath at all, since it's more about gods of undeath.
History would not help me
History
as well.
is more about um certain times and cultures experiencing undeath, putting a mark on history. Arcana is more like magical aspects of necromancy. Intelligence is just straight out knowledge about stuff, which is probably the more apt. And nature would be the nature of undeath. So the
Okay,
most fitting roles would probably be an intelligence check and a
nature, I
nature
guess.
check.
Yeah, okay, I'll roll. Can I roll both or just one? Just choose one.
It depends if you think you're the best person to look into matters of nature.
Yeah, I'm not the best one, but at least everyone can try, right?
No,
No,
only
that's the rule. Only one can try.
one person can
Oh,
try, or two people can try. Uh, so it's either one person with advantage or two people don't.
Yeah.
and we
So
can use guidance actually, right? This skill
Yes.
check.
yes,
Okay,
but let's find
who
out
is
who has the highest nature score. Shall we first?
who
Or
knows
it's undead.
most? Let's roleplay. Who knows most about undeath from all of us? I'm certainly not the most knowledgeable about this.
I mean, I've read books on the subject, says Radar.
I'm fairly certain you are the one, rather. So, if you could please, can we both have advantage and guidance?
Only one
Yeah.
person have advantage. Oh,
But
either one person has advantage, two people does straight rolls. One person gets the guidance no matter what. So the question is, do you double down on the person with advantage and guidance, or do you
yeah,
do single rolls and give one guidance?
Timeout.
uh,
Timeout. So
Actually, you can have two guidances probably.
I think the best solution would be having Radar roll his intelligence check because he's a mage, so he has intelligence as a stat. And since he
depends
has
on
the
DC.
highest nature, I suggest he does nature with advantage and guidance.
Exactly what I was going to say, but it's about nature. Nature is the same DC, right? We need to pass, or it's lower for intelligence. Even
Oh, that
it should be
I'm not
lower.
going to tell. That I'm not going to tell you.
That would be breaking the game.
Yeah,
Yes,
I mean, intelligence is bound to be lower because you don't have your proficiency bonus and stuff like that.
again, that I'm not going to say.
That's the
Okay,
thing.
let's double down on router. But do we go with intelligence or nature?
Roll a guidance check, because guidance is mostly for skill checks, so it will be the nature check. If the stat check is not really a skill check.
Yep, agree. Let's go nature. This is the
Wait, it's a
highest.
choice, not both. He doesn't have to roll both.
No,
No, I mean, like, not all of you are trained in nature. Like,
Exactly.
not every one of you would be allowed to do a nature check, only the people that are trained in nature. Pradar is trained in nature, so he is allowed.
Okay.
Do we need to have a second person that's trained in nature to assist him for
I just
advantage?
simply need someone rolling the guidance check so I can do the.
There you go.
Oh
Hell
wow!
no. Jesus Christ.
Oh, that's like a 6 and a 1 to point it out.
Yeah.
Um, for a total of 15. Um, um on death is usually there's a force, mostly energy of a magic type, divine, arcane, uh, planar energy that reanimates bodies beyond their natural life. Uh, Such tampering with life is often seen as uh, a very vile act, although there are uh, good examples of undeath, good examples of necromancy. I believe your healing spells are necromantic in nature, as they are life manipulation. But uh, to bring up the resting dead from their graves is a most heinous act of malice and evil.
Can creature that was raised in that way ever be truly alive after that?
Um, well, there are necromantic spells that can raise someone back from death to become a living, breathing creature again. So, uh, yes, but that falls more within uh, the divine schools of magic. Mostly tend to be reserved for your uh, divine spellcasters. But yes, it is very possible to bring someone back from the dead in like a positive way, or it could be just simply be uh, done in a negative way.
If it's ever done in a negative way, can it be reversed to a positive way?
Uh, Depends on the death, I suppose. Depends on the period of someone has been dead. Like if you cut off Assam's head and tried to revive him, you might not be able to do so because he'll just come back to life without the head and promptly die. If you could attach his head onto his body, then magic could fix it, yes. Uh, it depends on the situation, the power of the spell, or the power of the uh, magic you weave. Uh, but like, there are certain spells that have immense potential in what it can do.
But if a creature was brought up to undeath rather than life, can it then be brought up to alive from undeath?
Straight, you mean? No, you would have to kill it first, I believe.
Okay, so it won't matter how much it would stay as undead.
I think the question is the dog dead or is it turning dead?
That's a good question. It could be turning dead.
I only see a sick dog, but I don't know a sick dog from an undead dog. Uh,
It's definitely not the same as the zombies we already had, as it's walking in broad daylight.
I think before you start killing the dog and wanting to race it back, you would have to ask yourself, can you race it back?
No, we can't at the moment. I'm just theorizing.
Also, why is the dog suddenly sick? I mean, how? What is your theory there?
Is the dog still sick? Is it in the same state as before, or did something change?
Oh, it seems to be. There's no recovery whatsoever.
Maybe it ate something undead that got it sick, and it got Benjamin to detect it as undead.
Because killing him on a sacrificial altar is not enough to turn someone into undead.
And
It
given
ha-
that there is magic around us that brings dead stuff alive, I mean undead, it could very very well have turned undead when we killed it.
Maybe it wasn't dead.
He wasn't dead.
Maybe.
We had a faint heartbeat, if I remember correctly, and we gave him some berries or something to get him up.
No, that is not how it happened. We
That's how it
didn't
happened.
see a faint heartbeat. We saw a faint movement of his
Movement.
chest that could indicate breathing, not a heartbeat.
Do undead breathe though?
Do undead don't breathe? Are you?
I don't know. Do they need to breathe?
I'm guessing no.
I wouldn't know.
We need to capture one and see.
Great plan. Let's use you for bait.
Okay.
We could actually also cut off his head and see what happens.
If he turns undead, yeah. that's a
Again,
good
the
idea.
head.
Okay, what do we do then, guys? Just getting Lancelot around with us on our quest so when he saw you doesn't look like a good idea.
Did we check for a detective at the old lady's house?
I divine sensed when we were downstairs, and I
Yes.
found nothing. So between
You did?
yeah, so when we
Yes.
arrived at the old lady's house, the
Okay.
Lancelot was not given the sense of undead.
Why didn't you
So
say that?
between
I mean,
He said he did.
okay, I've missed that. Sorry.
So between then, I told, who did I pull aside at the house? Was it you, Zero?
No, it was me.
No, it was surreal.
Oh, it was real.
Sorry.
Right. What?
I told you then. But anyway, yeah. So
Yeah, I've forgotten. Sorry. I thought that the last time is like ages ago.
The
Between me and
timeline, from what I remember, is what Benjen says. Lancelot got sick, and Benjen did a divine sense in the lower floor of Mary's house. Then he did another one at the ground floor of the Burgomaster mansion. At that point, he got. I'm not gonna say the result of the reading, unless Benjen says it, but like he got something, got a ping of something here. Not
But
at
he-
Mary's house.
But Lancelot was feeling down as soon as we entered the house of that lady. So he was feeling down before being tested. After, yeah, I got what I meant.
As we walk away from the house, I just ask Sam, how is Lancelot seeming now? So, Sam, can you just check over Lancelot?
When was this?
No, I'm asking you to do it now.
To check
Yes.
Lancelot?
Yes.
Yes, please.
He has corona, guys. I'm certain.
No, I think he means roll a medicine check.
Yes, this would be a medicine-based check. Something is causing him unnecessary like pain and suffering, I suppose. He's not having a good time. As for the nature of that, it doesn't seem to be anything external.
So he ate something. What did we give him?
Or there's something
Somebody-
in him. It's not necessarily that he ate something. Unless someone kept feeding him food from the death house.
Don't
I
look at
think
me.
didn't he eat pie before we left
Did you feed a dog pie?
Yes, I gave him some pie.
What kind of a pie did you buy?
Fruit cobbler pie, and I ate half of it. And I shared half of. I know that I ate part of it. I gave Lancelot part of it, and I gave Ismark a part of it as well.
And it's important to know that both Assam and Ismark was present for the second divine sense. Just giving you a massive hint there.
Say that again, please. Yeah.
On the second divine sense at the Burger Master's mansion, all people that ate that pie
Were present.
Yes. Two of which did not give off a ping of sort.
unless it's some dog related stuff.
Just saying, so you don't like completely go paranoid and start like suspecting Assam here.
But the ladies have a demon that makes the pies. For crying out loud.
What? The granny is half demon?
Wait. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Question for so, if I understood correctly, the first time when where there was no ping, when the first divine whatever sense, it was me and Lancelot, and there was nothing found. And on the
Yes.
second time when me, Lancelot, and Ishmark were present, something was found.
Yes. From the
So
dog.
maybe it's
He
so.
he can also see the source of
Yeah.
what's found. They found a source on the dog.
I think Ewan was trying to hint that it's not the pie because a lot of people ate it and no one
Yeah,
gave
but people ate
symptoms
it,
like.
not a dog.
Yeah, I know.
I
That's
mean,
what I said.
it's a
It's a dog
10-kilo
thing.
dog versus a 100-kilo human. Which do you think will be affected first?
Okay, but we can always go to the corner of the lady and ask her whether her pies affect dogs in a strange way.
Well, I
It's
think
not that far, like 5 minutes walk.
it's a good it's a good as a plan as we have right now. So let's go.
You're
And
heading.
yes, she's a part demon.
You're heading to the where exactly?
There, where
The
Lucian pinged.
corner.
I mean, you just like walk up. This street as normal seems to be like nothing particularly different about any of it. You go there. Beyond like a few people up and about, you don't see any woman with like a cart or something in that area where she was yesterday.
Do we see it in on any other street from the market square?
Make a perception check.
1 second. Meanwhile, please get me
Guidance
up to
check.
speed with the whole demon, half demon, granny or lady.
Yes.
Okay. I'll let Lucian narrate this, as he obviously has.
No, I just remember that one of the barkeeps mentioned that she has demon in her lineage.
Her grandmother was something with a demon, and then everybody in the family has demon blood.
Yes, and that's something she herself revealed the first night you met her.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
She used it as an excuse for being a bit.
Mm-hmm.
We can ask in the tavern. She's delivering pies there as well. Sometimes. Maybe she's in the tavern as we speak. Maybe this is just a crazy thing to do at all. The beauty of paper in D&D.
to decide where you go.
Let's go in the tavern and ask. In that case,
We can also ask Baradonovic, but given his state, I'm not sure he's going to cooperate.
We have a lot of things to ask him.
He'll probably
I'm not
kill the
sure we
dog.
have time enough.
Yeah, but it's like 10 minutes since we left the house.
okay. I walk in the tavern. Straight to the barmaid.
Tell you, talk with Survia, the red lady.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes. Just hinting the name.
I go to Servia and say
Survia.
good evening.
Greetings, Sir Dice-a-lot.
Uh,
Oh,
that was a good one.
it's actually midday, by the way. It's not evening.
Good day. We were wondering if you've seen the little old granny that delivers the pies anytime today.
Morby.
Granny Moji, she should be here in an hour or two, I think, with the batch for today's dinner and evening services.
So an hour, thank you. Timeout question to the DM. Do we have the time to interrogate Priest Donovich in 1 hour to get back?
That's entirely up to you. I don't know what kind of interrogations you
Man, if
intend.
we go with one more question, and 4 hours after that, one more question, we don't.
Hey, shut up! Without me asking questions, you wouldn't have found out half the things you did.
Now, guys, calm down. Calm down. Our
Timeout is
friend's
over.
life is at stake.
Timeout is over. Back to the game. Okay then. We shall be back in 1 hour in that case. Thank you for your time.
Sure.
As we walk out, I go and remove Lancelot's collar so that he can breathe freely, and so that it doesn't burden him.
Okay. Back to the village, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. Church, I guess.
Did removing the collar had any effect on Lancelot? Is he breathing better now? Was that causing something to him?
Didn't change much, to be honest.
Is actually there anything on the collar? Did we investigate it when we found him?
Says his name and not much else.
Okay. So what now, guys?
Rather, I wonder if you would make some of those good berries and try to feed one of them to the dog. I wonder if that would have any kind of effect.
Certainly. They are not. What they do is that they only give back life. They don't
Cure.
do anything against undeath or something like this. It's more of a food slash spiritual energy type of thing.
Menace, you should eat one. Your HP is low.
Yeah, I'm at 1 HP.
He does a quick little cost of good berry and produces 10 of them. And he hands you one for the dog.
Can we have 2 each, please? Rather.
Sure. He distributes 2 berries for all of you except for... 2 berries to all of you.
Yeah, Manis will give one of them to the dog.
And then I shall eat the second one for in order to have
No.
2 HP.
No, don't eat it. Don't eat it, Manis. Keep it.
Okay, I'm gonna keep it.
2 health will not save you if you get hit anyway.
That's true.
But one berry can get you up.
Saves him if you take 21 damage.
Yeah, okay, that's a good point.
The berry doesn't seem to do much to Lancelot. Like, doesn't bring any like immediate change.
Quick question out of character. Does healing damage undead as in other D&D versions?
Say what?
Like, does healing act as damage to
No,
undead?
it does
I
not.
mean, okay, good. So we're not in danger of killing him with that berry.
No.
Okay, any other ideas, guys?
I wonder if there's a witch or a shaman or a, I don't know,
I wonder
seer.
if we can find some books about undead in this thing.
Undead is the symptom of the problem we are trying to fix, not the problem itself.
Yeah, it's not like Lancelot is undead. There is something maybe inside him that's causing him to get
To be sick.
and
Yeah.
resonate undead signatures.
Like,
All I'm saying is that he does not have external signs of there being something wounding or infectious or something like that.
Okay, let's.
I never said there's like a little thing inside of him that makes him sick. I'm just saying there's no external signs.
He when did he feel sick the first? Was it
when we
he
went,
laid down?
when we entered.
But as soon as we entered, he was feeling sick, right?
That was the first time we saw him do
Manifest.
something.
Yeah.
Yes.
Could have been.
Okay.
He could have just as well
But
be sick from one night ahead.
before that, we at any point we did not leave his presence. So actually, in that house was the only place where we actually left him alone when we all went up. Maybe he actually came up with us. I'm not sure, but he was already sick when we did that. So we should have seen whatever had happened to him. Can I do any memory check or something?
Could be an intelligence check, yeah.
Where the fuck is intelligence check? Ah, okay, this is a stat check.
I mean, you've been around Lancelot for the most of part of the time you've discovered him. Like he kinda hasn't left your sight for any period of time, and when he first got sick, he hadn't left your side since you found him. I mean, he's been sleeping in your rooms, he's been walking next to you, he hasn't run off or anything. There's at least one or two of you have been around for most of it.
Okay, but I cannot recall anything happening specifically.
Nope.
Okay, I think, guys.
I'm
Let's
out of
go
ideas.
to the priest.
Yeah.
Priest is like mad at us. But yeah, let's go. We have to talk to him anyway. Show him the letter, explain what
Ask him about
that
the
we are
herbs.
coming to help him.
Good luck explaining that.
I'll try. He's a brother to my sharing my beliefs for the light and the dawn.
As you're approaching the church, you see the familiar building. You hear like a lot of like yelling and stuff. That seems to be a bit like muted as it's being blocked off by certain things. You get the sense that it's probably the locked up son, from like how the voice is calling for his father and stuff. But yeah,
Okay, is the church closed? I mean,
Yeah, the door is
door
closed.
the door is closed. Yeah,
is it locked?
check.
Yes, I'm checking.
Nope.
Brother Donovich, I yelled at him. Wait. And I enter slowly.
Before entering, I say, Benjen, might be a good idea for you to wait for us outside.
Yeah. Brother
Yes.
Donovich, are you right? We
Before
hear
we
your son
start
calling.
talking to the priest, can the dog enter the church?
Uh, yeah.
Manis has played too much D&D. He knows that stuff. I would never even think about such thing.
Struggling to walk on his own, but yeah, like freely move inside.
So
Oh no,
he's
I'm
not
carrying
obsessed.
him. I'm still
No
carrying the dog.
holy ground stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. Yeah, then yeah, no problems carrying him inside.
Okay.
Is there such a thing out of a character? Like
As what, holy
if you're
ground?
possessed? Yeah, if you're possessed or
It's
stuff
for
like that, holy
vampires.
ground.
For vampires, they cannot enter holy ground or something like that, or uninvited into houses. Depends on what TV show you watch.
No, vampires
Well,
can't go uninvited
no,
into
I
houses,
mean
according to lore, and according
in
to
D&D,
basically every single lore out there, undead cannot set foot on on sacramented ground.
but I'm talking about in D&D lore and rules. Is there such a thing in D&D?
It's the rules that Yuan sets in D&D. In case you haven't figured that one out yet.
That's the priest laughing, right?
No,
No,
that is God
No,
laughing.
the devil, you mean?
Depends on who you ask.
Okay.
as Lucian just walked up and started interacting with Brother Donovich, though. Ah, you again? Fuck off.
Just hear us out.
What?
We did check on Lady Irina, and she has no signs of any bites or any other kind of illness. We also actually did check her with magical senses, and she is perfectly fine. So you don't need to worry about her. We found out that the letter sent that where we read she was beaten is actually fake, and I show him both letters and tell him, see, this is the original um, handwriting of Master Kulianovic, and you actually know it because you guys exchanged letters. And see, this is the fake letter where we read this information. So it turned out to be all fake.
Of course I'd worry about the lass. You called her the devil's whore, not me. You said she was bitten, and now you say she's not bitten? Ah,
We
If I
were,
may, we never said
yes.
she was the devil's whore.
I say she's the devil's whore.
Why?
Yes, we apologize for all that we caused and all
Bitten
the
by a
commotion.
vampire? What part of devil's whore do you not understand?
But she's not bitten by a vampire.
That's what you're now telling me?
So you are going to trust what we said yesterday, but not trust what we say today?
Well, you were apparently liars, weren't you?
We were actually misled by a letter
So
that
liars.
was forged.
Liars.
At least,
if you don't know the truth, then don't speak the lie.
yes, we learned our lesson, Brother Donovich. This will never repeat any longer.
Never mind.
He seems very genuine here. You can trust this guy, Menace?
Brother Danovich, I understand that you were very good friends with Kolyan.
Master
Wait, I
Kulianovic.
need to read. Okay, Kolyan Indrovic.
I knew the man. He's the burgomaster. Everyone knows the man. I mean, I wrote him letters, but someone has to help poor Doru. I mean, what else was I supposed to do? It's my son.
No. From what I understand, you were friends way before the events of last year.
Well, yeah, he's the again, he's the burgomaster. What part of he controls the village does that not explain?
I think when I said friends, I didn't babble nor misinterpret my words.
Guys, something has happened.
Yeah,
I
everyone
don't
just got
see.
disconnected except for me. That's what
No,
happened.
it's not that. I see the same. Like I see only
Yeah,
my.
I
yeah.
saw all
I
of you
guess
disappear too.
so.
Let's log out.
Everybody's
Relog.
Yeah, just
surfing the game.
click exit game and go back and relaunch it.
F5 for me.
Control Shifter.
I still see myself only.
No, you don't.
I see you
Yeah,
as
I
well.
see you. And yeah. I guess all of us got dropped in a separate game.
No, Roll20 just crashed.
Yes, so they've been having like increased load as of late, so they've been trying to expand their server structure.
Too many people.
Imagine why.
Yeah, imagine why.
Yeah.
People staying
Anyway.
at home.
Anyway, bringing us back. Where were we?
I was underlining the fact that I used the term friend, and Brother Donovich accepted that usage of term, not professional acquaintance into the running of the city part.
Close friends, let's say.
I also understand that Doru was a friend to Ishmark during his childhood.
I mean, well, they went off to Valaki together to go to school, but that's common here. Uh, Families that have more uh, better economies tend to actually send their children to schooling for a few years. It's like there's plenty of people that has done the same.
I agree.
I'm not
So in this case, with such a powerful history between the two of you, why are you so set on bringing harm to his family?
um for the record, by the way, don't roll skill checks unless I tell you to.
Okay.
Like the persuasion check might not have any effect unless I tell you it has effect.
Okay.
Um, to answer in character, um, I'm not trying to bring pain and suffering on his family. You told me she was a monster.
Well,
And
we
mean-
apologize.
we also told you that if that's the case, we'll take care of it, which is not the case. So no need for raging mobs with pitchforks and torches.
Well, how many people with weapons have you seen beyond that mob in this town?
None, for that matter.
Exactly. We'd have no able-bodied guards in this community because we are all farmers. If something is set loose on the community, it will ravage the community. There is no resisting. It took the majority of my relationship with my son to lock him down in the Undercroft. I have no such control over Irina if she turns out to be, well, the devil's whore.
You need not worry about that. She's not.
Of course I
With
have to
them.
worry, but I always have to worry about that.
We're here to help with that matter. Uh, as a priest to a priest, we need to put Master Kulian, the Burgomaster, to rest. It's our duty as priests. We cannot just ignore his funeral.
Also, as a but from deep respect to the relationship you had with the Burgermaster during all those years.
I cannot spend my time and focus on the burying the dead that has no concerns when my son is dying and withering away in front of me.
Speaking of that,
Like,
would it be fine if we have a chat with your son? We
do
might
not
find.
open the door. Do not open the door.
I was not planning on opening the door. Maybe talking through the door with him. We can clearly hear him say "father," so there is some semblance of coherence in his words.
I also shows the herbs to Father Donovich and say, "Are these herbs good for calming
Uh,
your nerves?"
Let me just pause right there because it seems like Benjamin is on the thing. Benjamin, to put something into perspective,
Hello,
Change the map.
Happy happened.
He
you
changed the
want
map.
cut off from
relax,
Yeah.
relax. Benjamin, can you
Cool.
see this?
Yep.
Do you see how big this thing is?
Yep.
Do you understand why I'm not gonna spend much time explaining stuff to you right now?
Yes.
Clear as day.
I'll come back to the front of the building.
No, I'm saying you can surely spend some time here looking around, but I'm not gonna do it step by step. It's not like meant to be mean. It's just that it's gonna take a fucking long time.
Yep, I agree.
Uh, where were we? Sorry.
I was
Uh,
showing Father Donovich the herbs I took from the Burgermaster and asking if he knew what those could be used for.
I mean, if he can use them for himself or for his son?
No, they're used like you use them for sleep, you use them for I don't know to go
Holds
and
them
poop
up.
better.
So your question, what are they used for? Is that the question?
Yes,
He
you know what?
holds up the herbs. He says they are dreamweed. It's a common forest type of weed that has uh, some good sleeping properties, ground up in food or in spicing wine. Uh, they would be able to help you sleep quite well at night.
And what happens if somebody took too much of it?
They end up sleeping for quite a bit. The stronger the dosage, the longer you sleep.
But there's no
But
chance of it killing someone.
Oh, not that I know. I mean, like if you drink it while your house starts on fire, I'm sure that can be bad, but like it's not poisonous.
Bartadunovic,
I know.
if we
I mean,
agree,
like a lot of uh, uh, dishes and such in evening meals tend to have this weed as it's quite common and it gives people a good night's sleep so they don't have to sleep and feel the nightmares.
Bartadunovic, if we agree to help you with your son, would you agree to bury Kolyan, the burgomaster?
If my son is cured, then yes.
Can we
If you
bury
intend to
him?
go and kill my son, then I will never help you.
No, we are not going to kill him, but uh, the burgomaster is rotting in his house. He's already giving out foul stench. Uh, we need to bury him in order to be able to work on your son's cure. We cannot just leave him rotting for another day or a week.
And my son is starving to death in the undercroft below.
You haven't fed him?
If I don't dare open the ledge.
We should definitely give him some food.
No wonder he yells and screams like a madman. How long was he locked in there?
If he breaks out, that is it.
But we can try to feed him without him
Cursed.
breaking out.
It's cursed.
How long
Curses
was
can be
he
broken.
in? How long did you ago did you lock him in there?
Well, for the better part of almost a week, I believe. I'm
A
not entirely
week?
sure what I said, but like about a week or so.
A week without food? Are you mad?
The poor child is starving to death. Do you have any bread around?
He's not himself.
We
Let's
will
get
feed
something
him.
clear. If you keep someone unfed for almost a week, nobody will be themselves. There is no way of knowing right now if his rage is due to a curse or due to starvation. Do you understand what I'm saying?
He has been raging for a week. Long before he even started feeling the effects of hunger and yelled for food. He is cursed.
So he's been
Okay,
in the underneath the church for more than a week in that case.
For a week? No, for a week. I'm
let's
saying.
try to
And
speak
his
with him.
eyes, they are not natural.
We'll try to speak to your son. If he needs food, we'll bring him some. But the question is, yes, we will help you get rid of the curse of your son. But would you help us bury the
I'll
burgomaster
do
before
anything
he
to get
rot?
my son back. I'll do anything to get my son back. Cure him,
Okay,
and I will do anything.
so you're not willing to bury the burgomaster before.
I have no concerns of the dead. I only have concerns of the living and for my son. I cannot fail my only child.
Okay, then we'll speak to him and maybe he can give us some more information where he went and what happened to him. Do you have any? Did you manage to speak with him before locking him up or after that?
I barely managed to fool him downstairs before I could run in and latch him up. No, this, 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 this thing is not my son. You can see the madness in his eyes.
How did you manage to lure him down?
Well, he trusted me. He came to me seeking help. I told him I could help him, but he
So,
would have to be in a darker place. So he trusted me and he went downstairs with me. And
so your
when we came down there, I ran for it.
so your son, your only child, asked you for help, and
Don't
you locked
judge
him
me.
in the
Look at
dungeon.
me. Do you see me have any type of powers that could work miracles? I am a man of the cloth, not a man of magic. Don't judge
Still,
me, you
If
yes,
pretentious ass.
if I
I
may,
will not judge
excuse
you.
my
I
friend.
love my son. I would do anything for my. If you put a dagger through my throat and said your death can save your son, I would tell you to murder me as I stand. But that beast is not my son.
It
He
still
might
cancel
sound like
you.
my son. It might
Still,
still be wanting my help, but it's not my son. Don't judge me, you arrogant ass. You're preaching. You're preaching without knowing what you're facing. Well, you preached before. You said a poor girl apparently was turning into a vampire, becoming devil's whore, and now apparently no. So your past preaching was wrong, and now you dare to come and preach for me again?
Excuse our clerical brother. He has a very certain way of with words.
It's an arrogant ass.
I am not going to contradict you on that. He is, despite his stature and situation, but we are not here to judge. in any way, and I am sorry for my friend and for my friends as well that we left you with that impression. We're only here to help and do our best to get everyone out of a very bad and dire situation. Now, is there any healer in the town? Um, Maybe not necessarily a healer, maybe someone that's good with alchemy or that's good with herbs by identifying them and creating potions and concoctions that can heal.
Listen, we're a secluded village community. Beyond the most exotic professions here are tavern keeps and smiths. There is no people of magic. There are no healers or medicinal trained type of people. There are no potion makers or chemists. They they tend to stay in Valaki.
I understand. I was just asking because it's a town of 1,000 people and it was worth a shot of seeing if there's anyone trained in more healing, with more healing perspectives.
If you get sick, you tend to die. Our way of life is avoiding getting sick.
See. Um,
Hashtag coronavirus.
We have no defenses against curses or poisons or diseases. Uh, we make do with herbs of local knowledge of old wives' tales. They Whether they work, I wouldn't know. Like take the dream eater. I don't know if it actually makes you sleep better, but people seem to think it does, so people take it.
Understandable.
If the power of the idea can make someone sleep better and not have horrific nightmares, then let them. But this is a land where there is no hope. I'm not going to ruin hope for people.
I I wholeheartedly agree. Getting back to Doru, you were saying a bit seconds ago earlier that his eyes were not the same. Could you be more specific on that? What did his eyes look like when he came back?
They glowed
At all times or just in the dark?
all times.
Red? Yellow? If you said something, Yon, I didn't hear.
Yellow.
Did he come during the day?
It was. It was in the afternoon, evening, I think. Can't quite remember.
Um, my friend also told me something a bit earlier during the day. He caught you snooping around the Burgmaster's house. Were you looking for us?
No, I was making sure that the devil's whore wasn't seducing you as well.
Oh, she was not. Don't worry.
I wanted to wait until you were gone so I could assemble people again to start dragging the whore to the stake.
As I said, that would not be necessary.
Well, you were almost making me murder an innocent woman. Well,
Brother Danovich, that is exactly why we told you that we will take care of it, so you don't have to do anything about it.
Oh yes, trust the people that just seems to come in and like know everything but know nothing. Sure, sounds like a good idea. I'm a shepherd of this flock. How could I trust you when I don't know you? You seem to think that you are the answer to everything, but I have a cursed son here, and you're doing nothing about that.
We will. We are doing something. We are trying to find
When?
as much as we can, so we can try to
Then get
find a
on
cure.
it. My poor son is suffering, and like
Probably get on it.
every freaking moment you waste is a moment he grows more and more mad.
I agree. Let's go to the room where the door towards the basement is? To the crypt is? Okay, I take a seat next to the.
I think Benjamin can enter
I
now.
call for Lancelot to join us.
Since we already spoke with the priest about him chasing.
No real reply.
Doru, are you still there?
Make a perception check.
Yes.
This is a passive one, so I won't guidance you.
Don't really notice anything.
Can you tell me about the trapdoor? What I'm seeing?
It is a traditional wooden trapdoor with
Okay.
latches. It has been heavily chained up, and something heavy has been pushed over it to put even more weight on it. So it's currently able to resist quite a bit of force from the inside.
Where did the shouting stop once we entered here, the church or anything, or did it continue?
It's been going on while you've been here, but it's been like ranting and ramblings and ravings. Make a perception check as well.
I'll guidance him this time. I mean, Manis wasn't worth it, but
You're not entirely sure what you seems to hear from like the muttering, but it seems to be like the paladin is a bitch.
there's a
Uh,
sixth sense.
you just literally hear like broken phrases like with words like feed and like pain and like suffering and like there's doesn't seem to be much coherency.
I want to push the thing that's on top of the what's it called? The trapdoor. Over.
So you're removing that from the trapdoor.
Yes.
Okay, make a strength or athletics check.
It's a strength check, I think.
Well, should be athletics.
It would be athletics, yeah, but I think you have the same. What's your athletics plus? Is
Plus
it
5. Yeah.
So it would be yeah, you can do it. You can't like lift it up, but like you can like drag it around so it makes a lot of noise.
Do
As
the
you're doing that, you hear like "Are you mad? No!" And you hear like the footsteps of someone hastily moving down the corridor, and like pushes Lancelot to the side, and like, "Stop! Have you lost your mind?"
We are not opening the trapdoor. Then that's not the point.
Then put it back on. Don't.
I will put myself on it. And I take a step onto the trapdoor.
Okay, he calms down a bit. Shifts like shifts his eye very like concerned, but
Does the trapdoor with the chains and the locks have any kind of a leeway? Like, can
I
I
don't understand
push?
the question.
I want to push a ration down the trapdoor
No,
without opening it.
It is completely shut, so it doesn't to
It doesn't
prevent
budge.
that exact thing. It's latched firmly shut, so it can be braced by the metal.
Okay. Is there any other access to the cellar?
Crypt.
Crypt
Cellar,
cellar.
sorry.
Are you asking Donovich?
Yes.
No, that's the only entrance, so don't open it.
Are there any windows or porticles or
It's a
crevices?
basement, no. It's a shut basement. That's why I locked him in there, so he cannot get out.
By the way, just out of character, some basements have those like small windows on the bottom of the houses, like sometimes with bars.
Yes, but the
That
priest
kind of.
implies there isn't in this building.
Can we make a small hole inside the trapdoor so we can take a look?
What are you inside checking for, Menace?
His truthfulness about any other access or orifices towards the cellar.
Yeah, that he seems quite genuine about.
So the question, Hassan,
How do we get
is
in
actually
there
a good one.
without getting in there?
Can we just make a small hole where we
Yeah.
can watch from it, or maybe pass something through it, like a sausage?
You could try.
What would it need to do to try?
Uh, Start breaking up the trapdoor, I suppose.
Not breaking
No,
it.
we don't want to break it. Like
You
drill a
Make a small
hole.
hole.
Drill a hole.
Do you have a drill?
Nope.
No, but
Then
we
you
have
will
knives.
have to try to impale it with a sharp weapon.
How about a python?
You would still have to hammer that down and put on impact force on it. with
I have a
forging it.
hammer, I have a python, and I have strength.
Yeah, so start making attacks against the trapdoor.
Look at
Don't break the
Brother
door. Let's just put.
Donovich.
Listen, if you're trying to skewer something through the wooden trapdoor, it's going to have an effect on the structure of the trapdoor. I'm not saying it has to be catastrophic, but when you
It will.
start splintering wood on a solid structure, it will start becoming more frail.
Yes, I know what you're saying.
I'm just saying it's not
Don't
going to
do
be
it.
as sturdy as before.
Indeed, that is
Can
true.
we try, guys? Can we try again to speak with him, like yo something? Brother
Um,
Donovich, is there anything that your son would respond to? Something that will touch him emotionally, that can probably help him calm down?
I've tried for days. He doesn't respond to who he used to be at all, beyond his rants for food and sustenance. Yeah,
And you say that he went to the castle up on the hill before coming back here as a monster.
he followed that madman that came to town over a year ago.
Who was that madman exactly?
I don't know. He was a stranger. But he seemed to convince a lot of the village people to follow him, and so they did.
Do you know anyone that we can ask about this madman?
Uh, Only those that accompanied him, I suppose. But up until Doro showed up, we all thought they were dead.
any reply from Doru to my?
You heard some shuffling when the pounding started, but there hasn't been any replies to the yell.
Maybe we should see the count. How long does it take to get to the castle from here?
Yeah, that's not a good idea. That is definitely
Just
not a good idea.
asking. Well, how long does it take to get there?
It would take you about, well, roughly a day or so. I mean, like, as you can see, if you stand outside and look up, you can see it up on the mountains, but the way around is actually quite winding, and it's more of a detour to get up there to be able to climb the mountain itself, which is why it takes longer than you would think.
Maybe the Count knows what happened to poor Doru.
What if the Count happened to Purdoru?
Well,
Of course, the
we'll know.
counter. Hello, curse, devil.
Oh, we haven't seen him personally, so we don't really know that yet.
Haven't seen my son either, but do you doubt he's a monster?
If you want to know the truth,
May we not answer to that question? May we
I
not
will
give an
stay
answer to
silent.
that question?
As long as we're quick at shutting the door, you are free to go down there.
Lucian, do you want to take a point on this?
No, I would not want to insult Brother Donovich by opening this hatch. So, any suggestions how we break this curse?
If I knew, do you not think I would have tried already?
No. This is a suggestion to everybody. Like, we don't know what's the actual source of this. We don't know where it came from, and can I do a roll to get some information on curses? What I know about curses in general.
You could. A voice just like yells out pretty loudly, "Feed me, Father!" Roll an wisdom check, I believe it would be.
It's not a check; it's a wisdom.
Um, since certain types of curses and stuff, it falls under the will domains in terms of like willpower, wisdom. Um, there's like hundreds of different types of curses around. Doesn't even necessarily have to be a curse. Some of them have simple solutions, other of them have improbable or impossible solutions. Until you can like establish what the hell is wrong with Doru, it would be hard for you to figure out how to cure him.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. What's the probability of fighting a curse without learning what it is?
Insanely low, if you don't quite know what it is. And from your conversation with Donovich, you might assume that he is not entirely sure what it is either. At least from the letter that he sent to Kolyan, he was not particularly specific.
Okay, so we need to feed him, and maybe he will come down, and we can speak with him, gather where he has been, and then retrace his steps, something like that.
We
Does it
can
sound
lock
like
the door behind us so he doesn't exit from here. Leave his and
I will wait on the other side of the door.
you need to feed him. Somebody needs to go and
We can leave Maris inside to feed him with food, like fruits in his hands. I'm joking, of course. He probably wants some blood or any other type of.
we don't know what he wants. Maybe he wants rats.
Can we, Manis? Can you ask him what he wants? Like what food he wants?
I put my face close to the trapdoor and yell, "What do you want to eat, kid?"
And it's kind of faint as you can't really make out much of the details. But yeah, that seems to be what he says.
Are there any cracks between the trapdoor and the floor? Like, could liquid be poured down next to the trapdoor?
Not from what you see, no.
It's an impossible task.
I mean, not from what you see, no.
We'll have to open the latch sooner or later if we want to feed him, but we need the food, but we don't know what food to bring.
Problem I'm having right now is, what if the priest is right? What if he really monster or a devil spawn or a vampire. Then
He
what?
probably is, but
If he probably is, if we really open that door, then its next meal, it will be us.
is there any way to identify what he is based on the description Brother Donovich gave?
Oh, I'm sure if you have an extensive knowledge of curses and such, then possibly. Do you have an extensive knowledge of this so you can piece things together?
Rardar, do you have an
What
extensive knowledge of this? So we can piece this together?
Nope.
what is this kind of skill requirement?
Uh, going by someone that has glowing yellow eyes, can be fucking anything.
Okay, that's
Maybe
what
we can
I
find
know.
Morgie or Morgie or whatever her name is. Being part demon, maybe she knows some of these curses or monsters with green eyes or yellow eyes.
What is Rardar's main weapon?
Like he's carrying a crossbow.
Okay. Assam, your rapier, please. Draw it.
You're not throwing me in there.
I'm not. Draw the goddamn rapier.
What do you want my rapier for?
Did you draw your goddamn rapier?
I draw my rapier.
I grab on the blade and cut my hand and keep it on over the trapdoor. Does this have any kind of effect?
Yes, the trapdoor becomes a bit bloody.
But
Manes,
you
Yes.
just
you
died.
take
You
you
had
take
1
one
HP.
point of damage and you go unconscious. I mean, come on!
On my
I
next
draw.
action, I'm going to eat the good berry.
You're already
No.
unconscious.
Oh,
I feed your.
you're unconscious. You can't eat while you're unconscious.
Some will
See
feed
what he
him with
done?
one.
I go. I take the berry that he put in his pockets, open his mouth, and I mutter, "This stupid guy, always dying on us. Didn't die a lot."
Do you feed him his last good berry?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, manage. You wake up at 1 hit point again.
Mm-hmm.
Bit confused as to why you're lying there bleeding on top of the trapdoor, but starting to come back to you.
I also want to bandage his hand so he stops bleeding and dying again.
Does the blood on the trapdoor have any effect?
The trapdoor becomes bloody.
Any
But it
other effect
doesn't.
than that? Okay,
We'll see.
I'm going to reformulate my question. Does this
I'm
have
going
any
to-
effect on Doru?
It has no effect whatsoever.
It doesn't pass through the hatch, right?
Doro shows no reactions.
I mean,
Well-
the blood doesn't pass through the hatch as you explained earlier.
Well, he's not a vampire, because if he would be a vampire, he would smell that wound 1 mile away.
All right, that we can cross the vampire then. That's a good. If
I didn't
you
know vampires had yellow eyes. I thought werewolves had yellow eyes.
I have no knowledge of monsters in general. I thought only Illidan has yellow eyes. I turned to Brother Donovich and asked him, "Do the townsfolk know about your son? Are we? Should we keep privacy on this subject, or can we openly discuss this with others?"
Half the town can hear his screams, so. Well, you tell me. Do you think.
Well, as far as we spoke to Ishmar, he was not particularly certain what's wrong with him. He just knew that he is not well. So, are you in any? Are you give? Do you give us permission to discuss his condition with others, or should we keep his
I,
privacy?
I would prefer that you didn't say anything as long as you don't know what his conditions is.
Okay. No, I mean, no, share what we know so far from your descriptions.
Again, I would greatly wish that you didn't say anything to anyone unless you know what's wrong with him.
Okay, thank you.
Figure out a way to help my son or get lost.
Well, we could always open the hatch and jump in and see what's going on.
Or we can open the hatch and let him loose, like to run away, unless he eats us. Given that what he did to the church, I'm talking about what's outside, it looks like he's pretty powerful. And
Yeah,
only
but I
the.
think that was 1 week ago and he wasn't dying of hunger.
So if he's dying of hunger, unless we feed him, he won't be talking about anything about food. So we will have to feed him, and once we feed him, he might regain his strength, and just we won't be able to
Well,
complete him
maybe we
anymore.
can feed him a little, just to get him a bit up so he can talk with us and we can
Like
ascertain his state.
use the food as a kind of a bargain.
Negotiation,
Like we
yeah.
will give you food if you
He
talk to
was
us.
not coherent when he came to me. My son is mad. I want you to cure his madness, I'm saying. What part of this do you not understand?
We need to, Brother Donovich, come down. We need to understand what's wrong with your son, and if you are to help him, we need to know what curse he has.
Then figure this out instead of blood not listening to me.
When first he came to you, when he was mad, did he had any items on him, something that you kept, or during his ransack of the church was left behind, something that we can study, see, maybe
Whatever he
shine
had
some
on
light
him
on
is
it?
with him downstairs now.
So nothing from his trip to the Baron, nothing is left, not a backpack,
I
a
do
bag.
not know. He came in here, he was upset, he started becoming violent. At any rate, I led him downstairs. I managed to run for it, I shot him in, and I've been trying to calm him since, but it does not work. I've told you all I know. Do something about it or get lost.
Obviously, we would like to help, but
Then get on to it.
Brother Radonovich, what would happen if these herbs that we have, those herbs that calm the people and get them to sleep, were like burn or something, and the smoke somehow got to your son? Would that get him to calm down and sleep? What do you think?
I couldn't really understand half of what you said, but he says he wouldn't know the answer to that. I don't know what's wrong with him. I don't know how a simple medicinal herb can affect him. I don't know. If I knew what I could do, I would have done something at this point. I'm not a monster. I love my son. I want to help my son. But from what I'm seeing, you don't understand that I can't know what's wrong with him. Because if I open that door, I'm afraid for my life and for the rest of the people in this town. And there is no one in town I can call upon that I can trust or to be able to resist if something happens. And if something happens, then that could spell the doom for the entire village as a whole. So, no, I don't know. I don't have an answer. Perhaps there is no answer. Perhaps my son is cursed to be like this forever until the day he dies, but I can't accept that. So find a way to help my son or get lost.
I can't say I disagree.
Okay.
Let's try this. Doru, do you remember Ishmark?
No reaction.
I have no clue. We need to feed him, and I don't know how.
So
And we need to ask somebody who has more knowledge than us with the beasts of this land.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure he's not the first one of his kind here. If there are others, there should be others as well.
but we
But his
didn't
fancy
find
somebody might not.
Margie. Maybe we can ask in the tavern, like gently
Merge
without.
could be back in the tavern to sell the pies, and also there's a Vishtari, whatever the fuck names there are. Yeah.
To help you, you would also kind of have a strong reason to suspect that if anyone in this town would know, it's probably Father Donovich. And the fact that he has no fucking clue is a really bad sign for that strategy.
Okay, the way I
Because
see it,
he's the resident priest. He's probably the one that has to know these things. And if he
yeah,
does not know, there's a large chance that whoever you decide to go check for answers might not have an answer.
Sierra Madame
okay,
Eva could know, I'm
good.
guessing.
Actually, you haven't met her, so you wouldn't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Just an idea.
I'm just saying, perhaps there is no solution to certain things.
Perhaps.
Well, there's always one solution, but I don't think we can apply it. Kill him and resurrect him.
That's entirely up to you and how you decide to go with this. But I'm
We
saying there
cannot.
might not be a solution to find an answer for everything as if it was a puzzle. There might just literally be no real answer for that.
Might be. So,
Might be. I'm just saying.
Brother Domovich, do you know how far the Tserpus are?
Yeah.
And could you tell us?
And
I want nothing to do with those spies.
Spies?
spies?
Spies, yes.
Spies to what?
Isn't this like poos? Like a
Count
body of
spies.
water?
No. All Vishtana are the Count spies. I want nothing to do with the servants of the devil.
Okay, that's interesting.
If you go there and ask for help, I will not allow you to help my son.
Okay, thank you for the hint.
There's a reason why we all hate the Vishtani.
You all hate the Vishani,
Yes.
but they're in the tavern, like serving all the people all the time.
Yes, and if they weren't supplying the townsfolk with alcohol, they would have been driven out a long time ago. Have you seen any other Vishtani here?
Not yet.
Exactly. The last we lynched a couple of decades ago.
You really like lynching.
Well, devil servants have to root out evil.
So, Manis, do you want to go for a fight?
For a what?
For a fight.
Again, I don't think that's a good idea.
Okay, well, maybe.
Look, leaving aside the crazy mumblings of the kid underneath and leaving aside the paranoid feelings of the priest, I have no reason to think that this kid is actually living. Like, he's been here for what we know the better part of a week, but as far as we know, he could have been here for the better part of a year.
Can Benjen use his sense and
Oh.
sense through the wall? Like, can we sense what type of creature this is?
Divine sense.
If
I wonder if it works through the wall, through the.
it is
I
not
don't
big,
want to use.
there are limitations as to what can block that sense.
It's probably in the description. It's like 1 meter of this, 1 meter of that.
60 feet.
This
That
has
is not behind total cover.
this has a spoiler, like the vampire counts for one, which, for instance, how can they put such a spoiler in the description of a spell? But we'll pretend that it's not there.
I mean, in terms of this, he would have total cover.
Yeah.
Okay.
The only
So we
solution
cannot.
would be to have Benjen go down, flush it, and then see what happens.
But that also involves opening the trapdoor.
Yes.
But we can. We are 5 people here. We have a lot of weight. We can like open it and all of us be ready to jump on it in case he tries to go out or something. Then we can try to divine. He will probably try to go out, but we can divine sense him there and try to push him back inside.
DM, can we do something like that?
Divine straight.
I'm not entirely sure what that plan is, but you are able to try any form of plan or action you think can work.
So the plan would be
Yes,
standing on top of the trapdoor, unlocking it and unchaining it, and opening it ever so slightly, not fully open, so that, for example, I'm still on top of the trapdoor. Throw a ration in there for food, and also have Benjen test it with Divine Sense without having full cover.
No. Throwing the food in, yeah, that could be potentially possible. Benjen would have to go down to have a line of sight-ish in the room to be able to do so. I mean, it doesn't have to see the creature, but it needs to be a direct open line that isn't in cover.
But if the creature, let's say, tries to escape, like show its hand through the slight opening we've done, can he then
Then
sense?
Benjen would be able to sense it, yes.
So we either, in both cases, we either feed him or at least sense what he is, and then we try to close the gap again.
If he approaches it, yeah.
So
I'm willing to take that chance.
but
we need to heal you
firstly,
first.
Can we all stand on that trapdoor if needs be?
I'm just saying, from how the trapdoor is facing, chances are you would, as you open it, would be looking at a wall.
We won't open it completely. Like,
No, I
just
mean
so
like
slightly.
the way it opens. Like, see, this is the part that opens. That means
you
you're
go-
going to be facing southwards, which seems to be going away from the church. So chances are the basement is northwards. So when Benjen tries to scout, he's only going to be scouting walls.
Wait, that's not how the trapdoor opens.
No, we want to scout
This
inside.
is the
and we
handle where
won't
I'm
enter.
pinging right now, and this is the what's it called? The hinge.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that means this opens towards the outside
Yes.
onto this wall
And
here.
what Yun was trying to say is that the dungeon is on the opposite way of where the opening will be, so we won't be able to see much inside.
If you look at, let us assume this entire church has a basement under it. If Benjen were to look, he would either have to stand where Manis or Rardar is standing. He would then be facing outside of the church, meaning the walls of the basement. Unless he looks directly down on that square straight down, he cannot see into the basement. Unless he was hanging and looking with his head into the basement.
We won't be trying to see inside the basement, so it's fine.
Yes, ma'am.
I've already said I'm not going to use it anyway, so we're wasting time on this.
Unless you actually go down there, there is no good vantage point, you assume.
At least we
Let's
can
just
try
open
to.
it, give him food, and try to see if he can talk more clearly after. Since
Yes.
Pete or Benjamin will not use divine sense anyway.
Okay, you may certainly try.
Manis, since you're only 1 HP, but you're a heavy guy, you can stand on the hatch so
Trapdoor.
that you
Yeah.
don't be able to be hit or anything.
Yes.
But we can use your weight.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Manis stands on the hatch while we try to unlock with Assam's help, I guess, the chains. Is it like
Okay.
is there any lock to be picked, or are you just like
Nope.
okay, so we just unchain it then slowly.
You would have to knock off the chain, yes.
It's possible to return it after that, right? It's not,
No, not if you break the chain.
We don't want
but
to
we
break
don't
the
want to
chain.
break it.
I know.
Untie it.
That is what I'm saying. If you try to open the chain here, it will be broken.
So there's no way of
Right.
opening the chain without breaking it.
That is what I'm saying.
Luckily,
No, there's no luck in this. This basically kind of hamstrings us into fighting the kid. What if we open the door?
Here's okay. I'll make you the simplest realization ever. If you try to halfway open this, it's going to be easier to potentially break out. Anything you do with the trapdoor or the chain will severely compromise the protection given to this protection system.
Yeah. So basically,
we don't.
if we decide to go into that basement, we better have a way of healing the kid, or else we're fucked. Well,
Or you,
not us
or you,
necessarily, but definitely the priest.
or you at least would be able to restrain him properly. If you are not prepared to potentially have to restrain him, then opening that latch is going to be a bad idea.
Yeah.
Until you can figure out something to do here, Donovich isn't helping you.
Yeah, so basically we need to help his son in order to help us. So let's find a way to restrain his son when we open. Like he can use ropes, we can use other stuff, I guess.
The better question is, are you fit to try to restrain him at this point?
I am definitely
No.
not.
That is the question you probably should be asking yourself instead of trying to figure out how to do it.
Maybe we can just take a rest, go have dinner at Ishmark's place, and then we'll figure out. Well, after long rest, we can figure out. Maybe try to do this.
Or maybe when we during the night when the monsters come, maybe we find one with yellow eyes and manage to kill him, capture him, or something. That one. So at least maybe we have some idea.
You also know that it's likely that if you spend the time at the Burgomaster's house, you'll be dragged into a fight there as well.
Yep, possibly. Not possibly, but definitely.
So long rests are like extended rests, meaning sleep and such. So you couldn't necessarily take 2 long rests, one for Doru and one for that fight. I'd allow you one short rest before long rest before nighttime, but yeah, depends on when you choose to do that.
So
Realistically,
that
you've been up and about for like 5 or 6 hours right now.
yeah, it's more realistically that we will have that fight and then we will rest after it because it doesn't make sense to do it any other way. Like I don't know. I mean, from a time-based perspective, it will be like midnight when the attack starts.
I'm merely saying you can either rest before you deal with Doru, or you can rest before you deal with the Nighttime assault. But like that involves taking a rest after dinner and like resting up properly, healing wounds and recovering. That is something you can do, but then you wouldn't be able to go back to sleep after the fight. Or you couldn't go back to sleep after if there's a fight with Doru.
Okay.
You will have to choose because you cannot sleep at will.
Well, the fight at the Burgomasters, they were able to fend it off up to now without our help. So, unless we try to do something funny, like going out and trying to
Unless you
follow
want to go
them,
back onto your word.
what do you mean?
I think it's implying that you chose to help them.
Yeah, we already
Yes,
promised
I
that
mean,
we'll be there for
yes,
dinner.
we'll help them, but unless we do funky stuff like going to trying to uh, figure out where they're coming from, like following them, we should be pretty safe in the house. It shouldn't require a huge amount of investment just to defend the house. They were doing it every night up to now alone. So even if we stay at their house, so we're not required to like immediately try to follow the zombies and figure out where they're coming from. So yes, we've promised we can stay there, we can defend it, then we can take the long rest and decide whether to help Doro or take one more night there and actually follow them.
Brother Danovich, did you rang the church bells since you had your son on in the in the cellar?
No?
Who is ringing the bell every night at
No one?
midnight? But Ishmark told us that the bell ring at midnight.
Yes, it rings itself.
Enchant.
Can we ring the bell now?
Yes.
Who knows? Maybe that will have an effect.
We ring the bell.
Okay, I'm
I
out of
think it's
character. I'm
over
really
here,
grasping
right?
at straws here. Let's go with this.
You and this was the rope for the bell, right?
Yes.
I just pull it down and try to ring the bell. Maybe ghosts will appear. Hopefully not.
Make an athletics check.
I'm doing it with one hand, okay?
Do it with disadvantage.
I could not do it.
Doing. Nothing happens.
How many times does the bell ring on midnight? Is it only
12.
once or 12 times? Okay, I keep ringing 12 times.
It's not midnight.
Doing.
It doesn't matter. Might be related to the number.
Doing.
Okay.
Doing.
I look at Lancelot in the meantime. Are you okay, though?
Doing.
Okay.
Doing.
I think
Doing.
it's 12. No.
Nothing happens.
Was it 12?
That was 12.
Okay, I go back to the room and tell Manis that it's not the bells.
Well then, let's put this weight back on the trapdoor, and we'll come back to this when we have more information.
Information. Yes.
Okay. So you do.
Bradanovich, Do you have any idea how long your son will be able to survive without food?
Would I be telling you to hurry up if I did?
We'll do our best to.
Seems to me you've wasted enough time already. Get onto it or fuck off. And you see him just like literally go back to the altar, kneel down, and start praying again.
Like he's doing anything.
Well, his actions are just as good as ours right now.
Yep. Might be better even.
Anyone wants to do something in the church, or are you heading back outside the village?
Yep.
Nothing in the church for me.
You see a number of citizens that like starting to flock out towards the church to see what the fuck is going on.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Well, you rang the bell 12 times, I mean.
You told me. I just tell them nothing to worry, guys. We were just testing the
We
bell
were
if
just
it was
repairing the
working.
bell.
Yes.
Make a deception check, both of you.
With advantage. Man is with advantage. I'm just.
Okay, man is with advantage. That's fine.
Okay, I need to toggle advantage, and here it goes.
You can toggle.
What are the chances?
You have to be kidding me.
It's
They
20
look-
by 20, so it's 1 in 400. Those are the chances.
They look pretty annoyed and angry and panicky and scared at the same time, and the glances they give you are not good.
What is I ask the townsfolk. So what is that house to the east of the village that is like slightly outside of the town? Yeah, that one.
Fucking farm, moron. Stop lying to us about the fucking bell.
Nothing happened. We just rang the bell. Is this a problem?
A couple of villagers push past you to go and like check if everything's okay with the priest and stuff. But you do see that people are, if they didn't like outsiders before, some of these people starting to really fucking hate outsiders at this.
I just try to calm them down.
I'm trying to think of something to calm them down, but I'm not exactly inspired right now.
No, it's just ringing a bell. It's not something like it's not forbidden. We're not against the law or anything.
Surreal, can you make a dexterity saving?
Saving throw, okay.
Yes. You do not manage to duck from a tomato being tossed at your face.
Ouch! Just a bell.
There's a lot of snickering going on in the crowd.
No, we actually gathered all
You
of you
hear
here.
a tiny voice saying, "Do it again, do it again."
We actually gathered you all here because we wanted to ask you what happens in this town during the night. We've heard rumors of ungodly creatures. Dexterity saving throw.
In the middle of that, you're pelted with a tomato yourself. So you when you get to like the bell, and then you can write "fuck off, man."
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Just apologize for the disruption we caused all of you with the ringing the bell. We were just making sure it's working properly, which is actually correct. Yeah, Pete, I think we are pretty much done for today.
Just needs to get done with this crowd.
One, Johan, that's 20 plus stuff, or how?
Just roll. All of you can hear like a bell chiming back at the um, church.
And I
Ben-
say, see, it wasn't even us. The bells are ringing now.
Benjamin, make a dexterity saving throw. Your chainmail is splattered by a egg.
Boys. Okay, I second Assam's what can I observation, saying that we're not ringing the bell.
You see a lot of people like grumbling and start leaving to the village, and you can hear some faint mutterings like "fucking outsiders, bloody liar," and then all just like scatter and disperse, leaving a couple of you pretty like messed up from tomatoes, eggs, the embarrassment of rolling shit when it counts. So you find yourself well, about to enter the village, having gone to the church. We will be stopping there since we're hitting the 3 hour mark in 3 minutes.
Before we stop, I cast prestidigitation on all to have their clean clothes again.
Okay, that works. You're
What the
all
hell
now.
is that exactly?
It's a cantrip.
I have 3 cantrips, man, and I wanna
What?
use them.
What is this cantrip that cleans clothes? I mean, okay, this is a magical trick,
Yes,
but it's an illusion or actual thing.
actual thing. The cleaning part is actual. Um, when is the next session? Sunday, as always.
Yes, please.
Any
I'm good with
particular
that.
any particular people that can't make Sunday?